The VLK Rogue is arguably the best shotgun in Warzone right now. It sits somewhere between a single shot pump action and a spam fire magazine shotgun. In the right hands, this gun can absolutely decimate enemy players at close range. You just have to use it a little differently to other close range weapons. Whether you're going for kills, wins or both, using this weapon can be a great option. If you enjoy close range, fast paced, intense combat, then you should absolutely give the Rogue a chance. This video is going to be giving you my take on the best VLK Rogue shotgun class for Warzone, as well as some tips and tricks on how to use it effectively. This entire setup is going to be built on two features that really let this shotgun shine: damage output and mobility. At point blank range, this gun has the capacity to be a one-shot kill, although you will more often than not find it a reliable 2 to sometimes 3-shot kill. This depends on your accuracy more than anything else. As a result, you can deal with multiple enemies up close in an extremely short period of time. It's absolutely lethal at close range. I'm also focusing on mobility for this build, as you need to be able to move rapidly throughout the Warzone environment in order to stay effective. Given that this gun is at its best in close quarters combat, being a slow moving target simply isn't an option. I prefer to use shotguns in a hip fire only manner. Unless an enemy can't see you, the speed sacrifice that aiming down sights creates simply isn't worth it in my opinion. Much better to stay on the move and shoot from the hip. Fortunately, the VLK Rogue has more than enough damage to make this possible. Attachment number 1 is going to be the infamous Dragon's Breath rounds. These give you a damage increase, a buff to effective range, as well as the incendiary effect on your shots. This one has so many great benefits that I really cannot understate its importance. Increased damage and range are fairly obvious for their importance. They reduce the amount of shots you need to kill an enemy, whilst also allowing you to engage enemies at range. But the incendiary effects are also so important and offer you a unique advantage in Warzone. The burning damage is additional to your main shot, so if an enemy survives with a slither of health, this burning damage will have a chance at finishing them off. Not only do you not have to fire off another shot to do so, but this extra damage is guaranteed with every shot you hit, so you can take your shot and return to cover whilst dealing additional damage. This is great in drawn out engagements when both you and your opponent are on low health and you can't risk breaking cover regularly. Another perk of this attachment is that it delays enemy health regeneration. Enemy health won't regenerate until after the incendiary effect has worn off, meaning they have to spend longer than normal recovering health. This creates a wider window of opportunity for you, as you can exploit the fact that they need to spend longer than you do recovering. Finally, the visual effect that incendiary round applies is also worth noting. It lights up the enemy's screen and also makes a lot of noise, so it has a kind of disorientation effect. Now, it's obviously not the same as a stun grenade, but it's far more than you get with regular ammunition. It can come in exceptionally handy when you surprise an enemy, as it creates an extra level of confusion. It makes returning fire far harder than normal, all of which works in your favour. Attachment number 2 also focuses on damage, and this is why we're going to be using the 16-inch Warlord Barrel. This tightens the pellet spread and effective range, whilst only slightly reducing aim down sight speed. Most shotgun combat is based solely on hip fire accuracy, as aiming down sight cripples your mobility at close quarters. Now, the VLK Caesar barrel does offer you even more range, but this comes at a big hit to mobility. I personally feel that it's more important to stay on the move with this weapon, and the Warlord Barrel is the perfect middle ground between extended range and conserving mobility. This will let you challenge players across rooms and buildings, which is all you need from this weapon. Don't expect to challenge any players at a range other than close, as it's still a shotgun at the end of the day. Attachment number 3 now focuses on the mobility principle, which is why I've added the 5 megawatt tactical laser. This massively improves hip fire accuracy and also shortens sprint to fire time. Now, this laser is visible to enemies, but that's not really a problem. This laser allows you to shoot from the hip with much more confidence and allows you to react far more quickly to enemies. It allows you to get on target far faster, as you simply don't have to spend the time accurately tracking an enemy to deal maximum damage. This means you'll have the best chance possible of dealing effective damage before your enemy can. At close quarters, this laser gives you that all-important mobility edge. You can stay at maximum movement speed, strafing enemy fire, whilst dealing out incredible damage. This attachment truly eradicates the need for aiming in. Now, this does work best for aggressive players, as the laser can be a giveaway in some environments. However, this isn't usually a problem, as a shotgun is at its best in close range scenarios anyway. Unless you're camping an area with the laser aiming wildly, then you won't have a problem. So long as you are mindful of it and manage where you look, you'll not have an issue. Keeping mobility in mind, attachment number 4 is the no stock option. This gives you a massive boost to mobility at the cost of aimed in accuracy. For this class, this attachment is critical. It allows you to move incredibly quickly, maximising your ability to move throughout whichever environment you're fighting in. This really lets you get the most out of the shotgun, as there's nothing holding you back. You can move at top speed at all times, never stopping to aim in. This means you can react to any situation thrown at you, knowing you can outpace nearly every other player to get yourself into the best position possible. Whether you're baiting out enemies, chasing down multiple players, or moving through cover, doing this at maximum speed is always the best option. Attachment number 5 is a tricky one. It's a toss-up between the choke and tactical suppressor. The choke will let you further increase your range, which can be extremely handy in some scenarios, while the tactical suppressor lets you stay off the map in engagements, which is again a big help. If you're an all-out aggressive player and are solely focused on kills, then slap on the choke. If you're aiming for wins, then the tactical suppressor is most likely your best option. This attachment gives you a little breathing room, depending on your desired playstyle. You should feel free to change it in order to fit with your desired outcome. Secondary option is all down to you. For lethals and tacticals, C4 and a heartbeat sensor are my personal recommendations. The heartbeat sensor lets you get an advantage at close quarters and makes dealing with multiple enemies far easier, while C4 gives you the ability to deal damage to multiple targets and clear out rooms as you go. It's excellent for where you know roughly where a target is and want to flush them out. Again though, these are largely down to personal preference, so feel free to change them as they are not critical to the class's success. Perk wise, the first choice is going to be double time. This doubles the duration of tactical sprint and increases crouch movement speed by 30%. This goes hand in hand with the mobility focused attachments used earlier in this class. Being able to cover twice the distance you normally would be able to lets you close down enemies with ease. It's also handy if you need to make a quick escape, as you can cover a lot of ground in a short space of time. It fits perfectly with the aggressive nature of this class, as being able to move throughout any environment quickly is a huge advantage. For perk number 2, it's going to be the staple of Ghost. Staying off the map and off of UAVs is crucial to success in Warzone, regardless of whether you're going for kills or wins. Now you can get away without having a suppressor, as that only reveals your location when you're fighting, but Ghost protects you at all times. It'll save you from being hunted down by enemy teams or players with UAVs, and it only gets more useful the further through the game you get. It will prevent you being picked off at range, but also allows you to get up close and personal to a point where you can really use the Rogue effectively. Plus, it'll keep you off heartbeat sensors, which is especially useful with this weapon choice. It'll stop enemies from seeing you coming, making sure you're in the best position possible to deal damage before being spotted. Perk number 3 is going to be Battle Hardened. This is one of those perks that acts as a safety blanket. A stun grenade or flash can be the end of your game pretty easily if you're caught off guard. Not being able to see and not being able to get out of the line of fire can very swiftly see you die without this perk. Plus, if you're dealing with multiple enemies, the likelihood of this happening only increases. Battle Hardened will let you shake off the effects quickly, meaning you aren't going to be exposed for any longer than a split second. Given how much close quarters combat you're going to be doing with this class, I think this perk is absolutely essential. Getting disorientated or concussed at close range to enemies is more often than not going to be the end of you. The VLK is built for close quarters destruction. It's at its best in buildings where enemies can't make use of their long range advantage. You can spam fire enemies if you need to, due to the gun's moderate fire rate and 8 shell clip. This makes it ideal for dealing with multiple enemies, but also for reacting on the fly. If you need to react quickly or are in the position of panic firing, this gun can lay down some incredible damage. Make the most of this gun's incredibly high damage and movement speed to produce some serious results. It truly shines at close range and can be a formidable weapon in small environments, as enemies simply won't be able to get out of your way. It can be a great tool for both kills and wins in Warzone. You just need to approach it a little differently in order to truly get the most out of it.